Hello, viewers. Today we have with us Mr. Pankaj and Mr. Tarun. They are the co-founder of Seed to Sampling Education Private Limited, which is based out in Bangalore. Let us hear from them what made them to jump into this social entrepreneurship and how was their journey. I welcome both Pankaj and Mr. Tarun for this interview. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
accepting our request and joining this panel. Uh, to start with, I want to hear your journey as a social entrepreneur. Why you selected this domain and how you selected this domain. If you can share your journey from the beginning till date, that would be very fantastic. Actually.
So actually, this journey goes a very long back. Although we are just like around 3 year old as an
Oh.
organization, but we have been in this field of school education. So ours is a mainly school education
Hmm.
startup, and we are volunteering in school education related things for almost like last 10 to 12 years. And
Oh.
all the team members. So we are all coming from, not all, but majority of us coming from Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore.
Wow. Okay.
And there is this voluntary organization group, Notebook Drive, so
In
where we
ISC.
in IISc student group itself.
Okay. Okay.
So that's
Okay.
where we all got associated and started working and build that a voluntary organization also, and reached out to several government schools for different activities,
Okay.
from distribution to science, math, computers, English, so many other things. And that's where we also realized that for us also it was more uh, fulfilling to work with students. So it may be
Okay.
like giving a social cause, definitely yes, but somewhere, at least for me personally, Tarun had his own views also. But for me personally, it is also like I enjoy doing it.
Okay.
So I mean, because it is making a social impact, that's a bonus kind of thing. But
Huh.
mainly, it is like I enjoy doing my work, being with
Okay.
students, being with teachers, being with school system. So
Oh, okay. Okay. So, Tarun, can you
Correct.
share your.
Correct. So yeah, I share most of the things what Pankaj said.
Ah,
Apart from that, as he was mentioning about this satisfaction,
ah,
the joy which we get interacting with the students and teacher, because every day we are also learning.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
that is,
yes,
I think,
yes.
wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So that we really like.
Okay, okay.
right.
Y-
To add some of those things, like because you asked for the journey of the
Yes.
organization, we took you back. So
Yeah.
the organization is like, we started after our PhD. I was doing my postdoctorate, so left that in between, and then
Huh.
in the journey, a couple of others also joined in, and mostly from IISc, one more person from NUS Singapore. So we are presently a team of 6, work with schools,
Okay.
students, teachers, some other organization, government bodies, some other NGOs.
Okay.
So we tie up with multiple people and carry out several initiatives. As we go on, we will
Okay.
discuss those things. Yeah.
Okay. You started this or you gave a structure to your idea in 2018, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what made you to give a proper structure to your initiative? Is there any particular reason? Because you are working with the kind of a voluntary organization which was there in IASC, and once you completed your postdoc and PhD, and you came out and you wanted to start, or what is the kind of what is that particular triggering reason makes it made you to come out with this initiative or this company?
So somebody approached that we have this upcoming school, and will you be interested? And then we all got together and we did a lot of brainstorming that how can a school system be, what all things can go in that school system. Unfortunately, that school never came up, but
Oh,
our ideas definitely got a lot
okay,
more maturity at that time. So although we
okay.
were like all voluntary thing, but now we saw that this can actually be something we can pursue for the entire life.
Hmm.
And we just thought that we should actually give some structure to it, and we started approaching some schools, and the schools have been very, very forthcoming, very supportive. So although without any investment or any of those things, there were schools who handholded
Hmm.
us and
Yeah.
like, we will take you forward, don't worry.
Wow.
Because so yeah, I mean, and then it just went on until date. Like, it's been like very difficult journey in a way that the first year was like initial year when we started,
Huh.
and after like 1.5 years or so, the pandemic started, and that was very, very
Yes.
uncertain thing.
Yeah.
Being in school education, schools getting impacted so much, and till now there is no clarity. So 1.5 years, then pandemic, almost
Yeah,
1 year
yeah,
also.
yeah.
But
Okay.
there were schools and other organizations who took the lead to make us grow
Oh,
and sustain and everything else. So
okay.
yeah,
So you
we
got a
owe
okay. So you got a supporting system or supporting hand from schools also. That's
yeah,
interesting.
we owe a lot to those schools and
Oh,
those
okay.
people, some individuals, some organization. Yes.
Okay.
Also, at
Ha.
that time, we were just thinking that what should, like, because if we are giving a structure, we have to think about what kind of structure should we give to the
Yes.
organization. Right.
Yes.
So we like almost debated for almost like I think maybe 6 months, Pankaj. So
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
we were just thinking that should we go for the NGO or
Okay.
should we have a Section 8 company, private limited? So there
Hmm.
were multiple options which we
Hmm.
thought about, and also we
Okay.
contacted many
Okay.
professors from different institutes, even from IIM and all, and
Okay.
we debated, tried to figure out what are the pros and cons of different systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, like there were multiple suggestions. Someone said that have private limited as well as have some Section 8 company or NGO kind of
Ah,
structure, so that you
okay.
can do both. You can work
Yeah.
with private schools as well as with the government schools and
Mm.
all. Because
Mm.
our final goal is to reach to the government schools. We want to work with those.
Oh, okay.
So that is always there.
That is
So
there. Okay.
because of that, there was a lot of debate and discussion. And even
Hmm.
in team, some were saying that, okay, we will go with the NGO model, and some said we will go with the private limited. But after
Okay.
analyzing all those things, we realized that there is one major advantage with private limited is that there is a lot of credibility.
Ah.
Like when you say that private limited, people will say, yeah, fine, they are really doing some genuine work, and there is also quality because the money
Mm-hmm.
is coming from the private bodies and the organizations. They will look for the quality, so it
Quality.
can't
Yeah.
happen that we just
Mm.
promise something and deliver something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
So
True.
that is one major advantage of private limited. So we
Okay.
thought that why don't we start with private limited? At
Okay.
later point of time, we can see if we need additional
Yeah.
or body, let's say Section 8 company or NGO, then we can start doing that
Okay.
also. There is
Okay.
also another thing which is there, that though we are private limited company, but
Mm.
we are open to work with other NGOs. So there can be this
Mm.
model, hybrid model, where we are working
Mm.
with other NGOs
Mm.
and they tell us what to do. And
Yeah.
based on the mutual understanding and expectation and goals, we
Okay.
can work
Okay.
with
Okay.
them.
Okay. Now coming back to the concept, what your company is working. Can you share insights of what seed to sampling is all about, and how it is different from the present education system, and how it is impacting the students as well as teacher and education system in India?
Right. So seed to sapling, I guess the name itself suggests something to you. So can you tell
Yeah.
us what does this name suggest to you?
It's basically a kind of you are seeding something which will which is a kind of for the future is about growing kind of plant. Here the thing is, if you give a proper education to the school going kids, their life will be better, because education is the most important elements in anyone's life. So you start implementing this, or you start giving this kind of good education system when they are kids, so that their life will be better in the future. So that's
Okay,
what.
so once we plant a seed, what do we
Yeah,
do after that? What do we do after
we'll pour the
planting the seed?
we'll pour the water and make sure that we'll give all the fertilizer and supporting system to make them to help them to grow actually.
So who has the potential to grow?
Students here in this
No,
case.
in the seed case, let's worry only about seed for the
Yeah,
time
seed
being.
case, it's seed only.
But what do we do then?
We support actually.
Ah, okay, so that's the main
Okay,
idea.
okay,
Like
okay.
because we generally think that we will educate them, we will teach them.
Yeah.
So we tried to bring the school systems out of this mindset or frame of mind where we don't have to do anything, because all the potential is already, not all, but yeah, majority things are already there. We have to
There.
provide a good nurturing environment, definitely,
Yeah.
yes. And that is what if we can do. And in that process, like what I did with you right now is also like an inquiry based learning. So instead of giving away any answer, which would have been easier to tell you that, see, there is a seed and then this is what happens and this is what happens, but then in this process I hope that I could make you also think a
Yeah.
bit.
True.
and engage you in some interaction, and you also got started into thinking, okay, what is it? And probably suddenly you were just taken aback. Okay, how come I am taking the interview and somebody else is asking me the question? So the idea is, in the school or classroom
Yeah.
also, we work with the teachers, and
Okay.
there is a tendency for the teachers that if somebody asks a question, we give away the answer,
True.
and or otherwise also we like to teach them. So try to bring away the teachers from this habit, which some teachers are already doing to a good extent, that don't answer students things. Let them figure out as
Figure
many
out what
things
they want.
by
Okay.
themselves. So we just have to keep some cross questions, some create some, basically in the classroom or elsewhere, learning can be like not just limited to classroom, or experiments are not limited to laboratories. You can do things everywhere around. In fact, this last entire lockdown year, we could do lot and lots of experiments with school students
Okay.
without
Okay.
providing them with any single material. Everything from home, including water, paper, salt, sugar, ice, anything that is available at home. And we could do this entire year with some students, not some, actually several hundreds of students on a weekly basis. We could engage them with lot of such experiments
Wow.
throughout the
Okay.
year without providing. So basically, like, I am just observing something outside right now. There are some clothes drying on the opposite terrace, and there is some specific pattern in the clothes. So now start with those simple observations, start questioning those observations. See if you can come up with some experiment. You don't need anything else now.
Anything else? Okay.
You don't
Yeah.
need a
Yeah.
classroom, you don't
True.
need a lab, you don't need a teacher or a facilitator. Might just help you, like, put some, I mean, give some guidance, that's all. But that is also sometimes, most of the times, is not required. We can actually become independent thinkers, independent learners. So like NEP mentions very beautifully, that we want to create this attitude of learning to learn,
Okay.
and lifelong learners, right? So we don't have to teach anyone. We are the learner. Nobody teaches me. One is teacher teaching a student. The second is learner willing to learn.
Learn. Yeah.
Sometimes with facilitated learning, sometimes independent learning. So, so this is the kind of shift we aim to bring in the school system, or on a larger scale in the education system as a whole. Yeah. Luckily, NEP helps us that. Tarun, you want to add something?
Yeah, just to summarize what Pankaj was trying to say. So, like, Pankaj was saying that let student be constructor of knowledge, rather than consumer of the knowledge, right? So here the learner is becoming the constructor of knowledge, and this is called constructivist approach.
Yeah.
So NEP is talking about that.
Yes.
Also, many of the things starts with like observations or learners' questions, right? So they will observe something, they will ask some questions, right? And then they will figure out the answer for those questions. Because they ask those questions, they take the ownership of that.
Yes.
They will think, okay, this is my question, right?
Yeah.
So they will be willing to put extra time, effort, willingness, and all these things. So along with all these things, we are working on the skills aspect. So different skills like observation, questioning, thinking, reasoning, and also if we are doing science or maths, we have to do it in the natural process of that subject. Right. So if you are doing science, and if you are not designing and conducting experiments, are we really doing science?
Yeah.
Is capturing the information, collecting the fact is just science? Or questioning each and everything? Questioning not only about the facts, but questioning the books, questioning the teacher, questioning the facilitator, questioning us, right?
Yeah.
Questioning each and everything. That is the fundamental aspect of science, right? So are we doing that? So in those aspects, as well as the attitude aspect. So like we try to make this mistake-friendly environment, because if we want them to open up, they will not open up easily, because like we have to provide that kind of environment. So we say them that we have so many rights given by us, by government. Can we have some further rights? So one of the rights which we give to them is right to be wrong.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So they think that, okay, initially they are also hesitant. They say, how is it possible? How can we be wrong? It is not good, right? But slowly they understand when we are making mistakes, then only we are learning, right?
Yeah.
So they are happy. We ask them after some time, do you really need that right? Then many of them will say, no, we won't, don't take that right. Okay. So that kind of thing is there. So we are also working on the attitude aspect. Many of the times, like I will maybe tell a quick anecdote. So we were doing science exhibition, and one of the parent came to one of the stall, and the student was asking some question to the parent, and parent was hesitating. He was thinking, shall I give the answer or not? So a student told him that you have the right to be wrong. Don't worry.
Wow. Okay.
So you can see that it is not only they have accepted it, but they have internalized
it.
Right?
Yeah, that is very
Also
important.
aspect, we are working on the attitude aspects also.
Okay.
So those are the main things: construction of knowledge, skill, and attitude aspect wherever possible. Those are the main things what we are trying to do.
So yeah, as you see, most of these things are long-term thing. It won't happen overnight.
Yes.
So that's why we like to work with the school systems or the teachers mainly, or even if we work with the students, it's on a long-term basis. It's not generally, it won't be like a one-off kind of interaction or a 10-day workshop or whatever it is. It goes on for a year, 2 years, 3 years. So it can just go on and on because there are just so many aspects to it, and basically just changing the culture of that system as a whole. Involving all the stakeholders, parents, teachers, school management, school environment, everything.
Okay, interesting.
Home environment, yeah.
Okay, so now coming back to that basic question, did you see any initially before you started? I think you started this company after you come out of this ISC or post graduation program. PhD program. Now, initially you're also saying you work with the voluntary organization when you are part of IASC. Whether that has influenced you to start or venturing into this education system, or is there any other reason that made you to venture into this education system?
So I guess the reason may vary for each individual to individual. For me, maybe that was a major reason, but Tarun had a different reason. So so the thing is, we can all have very different reasons for that, because for me, because of that experience, there were several instances. I remember one of the day when we were there, and we used to go to for house visits for giving scholarship, and then I remember crying after coming back to the hostel that, oh my God, students have to go through all these things. So that was just one child who was living in a single room house in some outskirts village, and I guess one of the parent was not there, and they had and then there were so many other stories. I mean, over the years, then we got to know so many other stories. Somebody alcoholic or domestic violence or girl child getting married and stuff. So that was also somewhere the trigger, and that we can actually do something. But at the same time, I also realized that if I will do only for other people, that won't make me happy. So is that making me happy also? And then that's where I realized that actually more than the research thing, this is making me much more happy. So it's not that I'm helping someone to help them. It is also somewhere helping me. Because whatever thing. So unless that happens, that was just not working out. I cannot live my life for others only, unless it brings joy to me at a personal level. So, and that was somewhere very much happening. In fact, happening a lot. So, I mean, every other day, since the initial days, or say sometimes when we have less number of those sessions, we have fights in the team that I will take the session, I will take the session. So just imagine there is work and people fighting that I will do the work, I will do the work. So because everybody, especially when there are like vacation periods and there is no session for a long time, everybody is like, no, I will take the session, I will take the session. So that kind of environment in the team, because it's like everybody really like doing it. So nobody has to tell that there is this work, there is that work. Yeah, the only thing which generally in the team people don't like doing is these meetings or like these management level things or finances. But yeah, whenever it comes to interacting with the school for the implementation part, or teachers or students, everybody like really fights for it.
Tarun, you have any views on this?
Yeah, so I think again, most of the things what Pankaj said, those are definitely reasons for me also to start this. But I think the seed for me was planted even before Notebook Drive, because I was teaching a couple of my friends during my school time, and they used to tell me that we really enjoy learning in this way. So I think I was also getting satisfaction and joy, and they were also like enjoying that. So somehow, like I started teaching from level itself, and then in my engineering, there was a workshop on entrepreneurship, and I think then they talked about that, do we really want to do like job, or can we see that what are the existing problems in the society and can we solve any of the existing problems? So again, so one thing is that I'm getting satisfaction and joy. So that is definitely there. But yeah, along with that, if others can also get benefit, that would be great. So that is a learning for me from that particular workshop. So I wanted to start something after that. There were a couple of thoughts, but then it didn't materialize. So when this opportunity came, Pankaj called and said that there is something like this. Would you like to participate? And then I said yes. I was thinking about it a long time. So why don't we do something together? And that is how it started. And even when I was teaching in KIT, like there was a student who said that, sir, like I really like this different kind of teaching methodology. So there was one program called Mission 10X by Wipro. And what they used to do is that they used to talk about the pedagogy to engineering professors. So that was really nice, because there are many bodies which are working for school teachers, but there are very few bodies who are working at the bachelor level. So I think that gave me the exposure that teaching is not just like it comes internally. Like we have to also put a lot of thought, effort. We have to know many things. We have to be aware of the teaching methodology. And that completely changed my perspective about the teaching. So I think all these aspects, awareness, attitude towards solving a problem, and the joy, I think all these things made contribution.
Interesting. Yeah. In the discussion, you also raised the topic of how NEP is going to help you. Can you share a brief view on that? How NEP is, whether NEP is going to help education sector in India, and also how NEP is contributing or pushing your initiative to reach more people.
Yeah, I think NEP.
Tarun, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think NEP is definitely going to help, because again, one thing which I really liked about this particular policy is that like they have taken the people together. So it is not like something which is enforced from the higher authority, right? So everyone was part of the policy formulation. So now everyone feels that this is my policy, right? So they are willing to put little more extra effort, and there's a lot of discussion is happening, and all those things are there. But definitely, again, it comes to the implementation. That is the main question, that how will it happen, right? Because if we see Kothari Commission or even NCF 2005, like many of these things are already written there. So it is not like people were not aware. They were already aware. Even constructivist approach and inquiry-based learning, which we are talking about, that is already mentioned in NCF 2005, right? So the problem is in the implementation. So I think the major part of the NEP will be that how can this be implemented, right? So if there can be a proper structure and there can be a framework for the implementation, I think it will definitely help. But because of the discussion itself, I can see there is a lot of positive energy around this. So that is really nice.
So yeah. So I mean, we have been thinking a lot about it, and luckily we also got several opportunities to be part of this NEP drafting thing, because yeah, I mean, Professor Kasturi Rangan is from Bangalore, Professor N.K. Sridhar is from Bangalore. So so we got to meet them on multiple forums during the last 4, 5, 6 years or so, since 2015. And so that was one thing. And more importantly, there are just so many things which probably the education system needed now. And it is like a very nice, see, the main problem where Tarun nicely mentioned is about implementation, because many of the nice things that NEP talks about has been there even in NCF 2005. So it's been 16 years since then. So I mean, after 16 years, if somebody interviews us that there is some whatever other XYZ 2035, and then we say that, okay, this is a nice policy. Because the government has given a lot, I mean, lot of I don't know, publicity to NEP and what all small and big things are there, and because a lot of stakeholders were involved in this drafting, probably that's where I see that there is already an awareness. So suddenly we see that now there are, like I told you, right, the schools have taken it upon themselves to make us grow. Let us be in this field. The schools, or there are definitely, I can easily count, there are these 5-10 individuals who are wanting us to be there. So in spite of all these difficulties and stuff, they take it up because they see that, okay, it is important. Some of them will say that it is important for the country or it is important for the globe, whatever these things. So that's why you guys should be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, because NEP is talking slowly, they are also realizing, these are all senior people, they are also realizing from their own experience that it's important. And now when we approach the schools or any other organizations, there is much more openness.
Okay.
I mean, there's a very subjective opinion, definitely. I don't really have any data for that. But yeah, empirically from our interactions, many people see that although there are these challenges, see, otherwise during this lockdown, there were some primary challenges about learning, but there is also NEP. So
yeah,
with online learning, can we integrate some of these small aspects of NEP also? So that makes everybody a lot more open for it. So that helps a lot. And more importantly, I mean, I have the best thing.
Yeah.
Say, for example, but you don't want it. You don't see any value in it. You actually like something else. Will you, I mean, is my best thing of any value? Because for the community, there's okay. I mean, there have been a lot of nice inventions which came before time and that just had to fail. I mean, after 5 years, 10 years, those same things got a lot of importance. But now it's like working on the other mindset also. That okay, this is what we want. So now this helps us a lot automatically, because it's not like some online learning or any of those things. You need to create this learning environment, and schools are the way to go. So if we have to have this facilitated learning, otherwise watching videos or doing some activities and stuff, but there is some facilitation. So this attitude, what Tarun had mentioned, or I also mentioned, those attitude are given importance. Teachers are given importance. Schools are, and teachers and schools see themselves that we need to adapt to these new kind of things. So yeah, there's openness all around.
Okay, that's fantastic to know. What is the vision of C2 sampling? If you can share.
Enjoy our life and make whatever difference possible. This is for me. And whatever difference possible to whatever extent possible. So it's not like working only with the schools or teachers or students. Also slowly see where all we can influence the policy or the implementation of policy on a larger scale. Yeah, at the same time also enjoy living our life. This is for me personally. Tarun?
Okay, Tarun, yeah.
Yeah, I think because even if we see from the spirituality point of view, the happiness and the joy comes at the highest level, right? So that should definitely be there. And if it can be for us and for the team and for everyone, I think that would be great. So yeah, as long as we are getting that, I think we are good.
Wow,
yeah, I missed that. Yeah, I missed that. That team thing is also like when I say I. So in the team, unless we all enjoy doing this work in the team, so we are very lucky that we have got an amazing team. Amazing team.
Yeah.
Okay, very passionate, very dedicated. There's no time, and nobody probably feels that it is work much, unless there is this other kind of work sometimes we have to do. So the team is happy, then automatically we are able to deliver the best.
The productivity will also be improved actually if everyone is happy. That is true. Where do you see again a future-oriented question? Where do you see C2 sampling? Say in the year 2030 or 2035. Where do you see?
What do you mean? Where do you see?
Means where do you reach? Where do you want to reach? Maybe growing internationally, kind of stuff. Or what is your future plan for your organization?
So we used to plan this before the lockdown a lot. Now we have stopped doing that much. I mean, the only thing is like we will keep doing things as and when it comes, and mainly we don't now go behind things a lot. Probably was there much, but now it's like and work is coming. There's a lot of work which is coming. So we also recruit people now, new people during the lockdown also now that is going on. So work is coming, but now we don't really fall in this. I don't know. Probably I would call it a trap of these targets. Some numbers: 100 schools, 500 schools, 10 countries, 100 countries, 1 million students, and we had those numbers in the very first year. Some such numbers. But I guess now we are coming out of this trap. Tarun?
Yeah.
So that I really like, because we want to go slow and make impact wherever possible. So it is not about the numbers; it is also about the quality.
Yeah,
So that
that's
is
true.
the main focus for us. And now we are really happy that there is a lot of mouth publicity actually. So that's
Yeah.
where we are working. They are referring us to the other schools, and we are getting like a reference from our well-wishers, and also like very rarely do the marketing by ourselves.
Okay, that's
Mostly it is mouth
interesting.
publicity. So in that way, we are really happy that people are appreciating what we are doing it,
Ha,
and
ha.
they see that it can make a difference. So in that way, we are really happy. As long as, again, for us, everything falls on this happiness. So as long as the people we are working with and they are happy, I think that is good enough. In long run,
Yeah.
one more thing is that at least I think for me as well as for Pankaj and for team, as I mentioned initially, we would like to reach to the government schools
Yeah.
and do some work with the students and teachers there also. So that
Okay.
definitely I see it. When exactly that will happen, that we have to see. We have already started taking small steps, but I think it still needs some time, because we have to think what are the real challenges there, because challenges there are very different than the challenges private schools are having. So we have to think from that point of view. But in long run, that may be one thing which we would like to achieve.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And probably in the startup ecosystem, people don't like when we just say that, okay, we will go our way. I mean,
Okay.
you don't like how you need to aim big
Plan.
and
Yeah. Yeah. That is
Initially
true.
we went there, but now after this last 1.5 years, it's
Okay.
okay. I mean, it's much more important to enjoy this journey instead of.
Yeah. True.
So yeah, slow and steady. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. And uh, what are the challenges you faced initially? Because as you mentioned already, yeah, when you started this initiative as a company, and you started approaching schools basically, what was the challenges you faced when it comes to reaching out to the school management and teachers and students? Because three stakeholders of education system, and the three are having a different mindset and opinion. So what are the different and critical challenges you face? If you can share that and how you overcome of that challenges, that will be fantastic.
Actually,
So
they
in
are
the
more than three.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I'll add later. Yeah, go ahead.
So there are management, there are principals, there are teachers, there are
Yeah.
students, there are parents.
Parents, yeah.
So all these are the stakeholders, and so many times there's a uh, again, I think it is about the mindset, right? So when we are talking about this kind of different pedagogies where students are constructing the knowledge, right? It might not directly help in getting more marks, or we can't guarantee that someone is going through this process will crack the IIT. If someone is asking that question to us, we will not promise that yes, the student will crack the IIT, and that is not even our objective.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So our objective is that we should have the thinking and thinking human beings, right, who can think on the spot, right?
Yeah.
And they should be connected to the society. That is the second aspect. So that is our objective. So we never think from this marks perspective, but that is one of the expectations from many of the stakeholders, right? So then how to balance between these marks and skill building, attitude building aspects. So challenge which we have to cater. But now because NEP is there, I think it is helping little bit, because it is also talking about the same thing, that we should run behind the marks, and we should think about, because now they are talking about the portfolio building where we used to get the exam mark sheet, right? There will be peer assess, there will be self-assessment, there will be peer assessment, and there will be assessment by the teacher. Right? So if those kind of things are coming up, I think that is really nice. Another thing which is happening, which is really nice, is about changing this examination pattern, right? So they're like they used to have the questions which are more knowledge based. Now they are case study based questions, right? So they will give a paragraph, like we used to get in English, if you remember, comprehensive paragraph. Right?
We
have to analyze that, and then we have to answer
the questions. 4, 5. True.
Similarly, that thing is happening for other subjects also now, science, mathematics. So there will be all the information is given to you now. So you can't write down the as an answer. You have to analyze that information, and then you have to write down the answer. So those kind of changes are happening. So if these two things are happening, mindset change as well as the examination pattern change, then many of the things can be taken care. So initially, because those were not there, NEP was not there, as well as these changes were not there, there was like we could see slight resistance.
Yeah.
But at the same point, I will say that there are many teachers who are very open, right?
Oh, okay,
So
interesting.
when the objective was marks, they said, okay, fine, we don't worry about that much. Let's see whatever we can do given the constraints, right? So they went out of their way and they tried to implement many things, right? So that was really nice. As well as we met many parents also who said that whatever you are doing, that is really great. So they came forward and they promoted that, okay, we should really do this in our school as a whole thing and all. So I can see both the things. There are challenges, but there are also people who are open and they want to bring this kind of differences. That is what I will say was the initial difficulty, but now there are a lot of I think opportunities. So many of the times we see challenges as opportunity.
Yeah, true.
And I think Pankaj will talk more about the pen thing. So, I think we'll get.
Yes, Pankaj.
Yeah. So the initial things were like some schools, like who are you to come to us and tell us what do we teach and how do we learn and all those things. Like what experience, or do you have any background in education? So we have had those kind of experiences also. And we have had a lot of good experiences also in the initial year itself. Just 3-4 months after incorporation, we got this entire school that you do whatever and all the students. But yeah, I mean, Tarun has very nicely summarized that everything. There were good teachers, there were not so open teachers. There were teachers who were, but yeah, like the assessment systems helps a lot. Like you teach somebody you train them and do swimming and then ask them to climb the tree, it won't happen. So if you are climbing the tree, like the examination pattern is to climb the tree, then the students also will not like to spend a lot of time swimming. So same thing with teachers also, they don't want to. So now if we are talking about the assessment system getting transformed, that helps a lot. And yeah, there were all these other challenges during this lockdown and stuff. Luckily, a lot of challenges could be converted into opportunities. And with NEP, we actually, somebody is telling us that, see, there are so many opportunities. So yeah, there were definitely a lot of difficult days also. It wasn't a very smooth sailing thing. With a pandemic coming, there were even more. Suddenly we had a lot of schools who like backed out of the commitment and it may not be possible, but there were other schools that no, we want you to be there. So
that's so good to know actually.
So that's where this NEP or this mindset also helped, that it's okay even if it is online, it's okay even if we have some problems in the fee collections and everything, but we can't take a back step over here. We have taken a forward step, we have to go ahead. So that's where this mindset helps. Otherwise, there were schools and there were genuine problems, not like any blame to those schools. Just genuine problems because there were real challenges, and not all the schools could really come up with this online learning immediately. So those challenges. But now suddenly, I mean, slowly schools have also got used to this online things. And then we also had some of these programs for this PM eVidya TV channels and so this online. So many of those challenges of earlier challenges or the online challenges got converted to nice opportunities. We could reach out to these online challenges as a national reach. So now we have students teachers across the country, some schools also beyond Bangalore. So we are working with those or some other organizations, some teacher colleges. So that gave us, like, it has opened up. So although initially we felt that as challenge, but now suddenly, like, there is so much of national visibility we could get because of online things also. So yeah, it's just that we be happy and stuff, then everything
will flow. Okay. Okay, very interesting. Now coming to the end of this interview, what are those, according to you, for future entrepreneur, what are those key inputs you would like to share or you would like to give so that they can imbibe or they can take your inputs and start their entrepreneurial journey?
One thing is that they should love what they want to do. So if they are just coming from this, because many times this looks very catchy, right? Entrepreneurship.
True.
Looks very catchy. Like it has become, it should not become a fashion kind of thing that, okay, because I want to say that I am an entrepreneur, that's why I'm jumping this. If that happens, then that is a challenge. Because you see that there are many challenges actually, as we were discussing. And like things are changing so fast. So if they are not loving what they are doing, then they will get frustrated very soon. But if they love doing what they are doing, they will figure out the solution by themselves, right? They will figure out how to solve that problem. So there is a lot of adaptability is needed.
Important.
And also resilient, right? So there is some uncertain situation. They should know how to bounce back from that situation.
True.
Right? So all this problem solving skill, if they have that, how to tackle a problem, then I think they will be able to solve problem. Also the risk tracking. So many times we don't know, because like as we have done PhD and you are also in the same field. Like in research, we don't know whether we will be able to figure out something out of that or not, right? Same situation applies to entrepreneurship also. Right? You don't know whether it will work or not many of the times. Though we can do market research, we can do all these things, but still there are a lot of uncertainties. So we have to take risk. And if we are ready to take risk, we may gain some time, we may not get some time. But this attitude of taking risk is very much needed. So also, as Pankaj was mentioning, we have a great team, right? So many of the times it is very difficult to work alone. So if they want to really jump in this field, if they can find out the like-minded people, then there is a lot of not only the intellectual support, but the moral, emotional, social, all this kind of supports you have because of the team. So we have like Shiv, Ashwin, Shravan, Minal. So like anytime we are stuck, we'll just go to them and we'll say, okay, this is the problem. What should we do? As a team, we will solve the problem. So that is really nice.
In fact, I remember last year when this lockdown, some schools backed out, and I was really stressed up that how will we even pay the salary? We are not that we are paying some great salaries, very, very basic sustenance kind of salary. And everybody was like, it's okay. I mean, we can do without salaries also. You don't. Why are you taking all these kind of things? Chill, relax. Like, fine, okay, relax. So
that's interesting. Actually, you have a good team.
Excellent team. So that helps. And see, the main thing is not only two of us; it's like the entire team and all of us. And I see some of those people whom we have interviewed for new members in the team. Everybody, we are seeing that unless they see any joy, that personal joy by doing this kind of work, it will be a work otherwise. And then so I mean, it's good to look for some payment or money and all those things. That is definitely required. I mean, we are all living in this real world, and there are real world problems and challenges. But if you don't enjoy, then somewhere like you will fail yourself. So forget about failing anybody else. Even if you are taking risk, it's okay to be wrong. So if you, like we told, right to be wrong. So
that is true.
So it's okay, you can take risk, and it's okay even if we make mistakes and really burn our fingers over there. Not at all a problem. We learn a lot from
that is true.
Mistakes. So otherwise, I mean, this is, I don't know if the startup ecosystem really likes it, but don't really start targeting the sky all the time. And it's okay, because you can be happy finally. I don't know, I mean, this is a general thing, and I don't know, it may be like a big thing or preaching somebody or something, but it's very important to be happy on a personal level, in personal life, professional life, everything. So let's not really compromise a lot on that. So people say that startups means you have to work 24 hours and all time things and all those things. This is fine. Sometimes we have to do it. If we really enjoy, anyways, that 24 hours won't feel like work. But if you're not enjoying, then that will be a burden. So enjoy that journey. Otherwise, it will be impossible.
Wow. It's really wonderful to hear from both of you. Here we come to an end of this interview. I thank Mr. Tarun and Mr. Pankaj for sharing your journey with the
one last thing. Not only for the startup. See, anyway, every individual, right? We ask the teachers to enjoy that process of teaching, students to enjoy the process of learning. So enjoying that process. Don't worry a lot about the final targets or something.
Wow. With this note, I would like to end this interview. I thank Mr. Tarun and for Mr. Pankaj for sharing your journey as a social entrepreneur here. And I wish you all the very best for your venture and for your future. Thank you. All the best.
Thanks a lot.